Wow, that was great. So we just finished watching Deadpool 2. We are in the theater right now. Is Kieran? He's with us. He's always behind the scenes, but this is, I think, the first time we've had him in one of these.
Yeah.
These impromptu reviews we've been doing here and there.
Yeah.
We got Justin and Ryan, and you know me. So what do you guys think?
I watched Deadpool 1 last night, and I gotta say, off the bat, I did not like Deadpool 1 when it came out.
Oh, no?
I don't like the character. I don't like the fan base around it. I saw it in a theater where everyone was like laughing at every goddamn scene. You know, so I didn't really like the fan base too much or the character. But maybe watching it alone, I actually really liked it when I watched it last night, and I thought the second one was just better. I like Deadpool 2 better than the first one.
I seen the first one in the theater. I haven't seen it since, but I remember liking it. I remember thinking it was funny. It's kind of a breath of fresh air because a lot of these movies are kind of dark. So you guys were telling me you saw Avengers, and that was pretty serious. And I noticed that was 2 hours, 40 minutes, Avengers, and this one just hit that 2-hour mark. I was really happy with that. Really entertaining all the way through. I feel like all I want to talk about are all the parts that made me laugh, but we'll get to the spoilers later.
I saw the first Deadpool, and I didn't have any expectations going into it, but I really enjoyed it. For this film, I was really scared that they were going to get caught up in like what a lot of these superhero movies do with the world building and like where do they go from here. We've seen the Deadpool movie. Now where do we go? But I think that the movie handled it well. I thought it was good.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about Deadpool. I haven't read any of the comics or a lot of these connections and crossovers that are going on. So for me, I'm just watching it like a casual audience member, and I had fun.
I think that's what's actually good about this one is you can be a casual, like you don't have to be super into the X-Men or super into Marvel, know a bunch of their mythology to enjoy this movie. But at the same time, if you do, there's a bunch of jokes in there and stuff and things like
in jokes and
that when they hit, they're pretty funny.
Yeah, so there might have been a lot of jokes that went over my head. Like, I know a lot of stuff. Well, I won't say specifics, but like a lot of stuff toward the end of the movie tend to bring out a lot of things where I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what that meant, but I'm sure it means something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure it's funny. I'll laugh anyway.
Yeah, the first one had a lot of, like, they both had a lot of deep cuts and references to things, or, they're always ragging on the DCU and all that. I think I got, like, pretty much most of the two movies, but that's what's good because it makes you research things. I kind of like how the writers could put something in there to, like, bitch about, kind of like in the second one, not the spoiler, but... they talk about the song from Frozen, "Do You Want to Build a Snowman," being relative to Yentl, the 1984, I think, movie with Barbra Streisand. And it's kind of like, oh, it's because like a writer had that idea and decided, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to put it in this movie eventually.
And the idea, the joke is not funny, but the way it's delivered is funny.
Well, there's something to say about, there's something to be said about dry humor and all that, which I think the first movie leaves you in a constant, that's funny, that's good. But I saw it in a theater where everyone's laughing their freaking head off, and I'm like, Deadpool's not that funny. It's just constantly good. The pacing's good. It's good.
I think this one was way funnier than the first one. Like the parts in it, I guess we'll get to them, but like some of the parts had me like laughing so hard I had tears at parts and stuff like that. So
it depends what kind of mood you're in. Like right now I'm in the mood to laugh at it, but maybe later if I were to see it, I'd be like, come on, that's stupid. I don't know. It depends on the state of mind.
It kind of subvert, like a lot of modern superhero movies have been doing this, but Deadpool is like the best example of it so far, of like subverting that like superhero movie story arc where it's like, hero, big bad, they overcome it, all of that. There really isn't like a big bad. There really isn't like big consequences to this. I mean, maybe with, what we'll see with like Cable, maybe in the future, but within the movie itself, there's really... the stakes aren't high. It's just Deadpool existing and encountering these characters, and
that's why like Ant-Man and some of these like some of the MCU movies or like Logan, where it's not about the destruction of the world, it's just the characters dealing with stuff. Whereas every Infinity War or every Avengers movie is about a giant laser in the sky, they got to stop it. Thanos, Josh Brolin again, was a nice change to that as well as this. But, I was just getting the superhero fatigue, but then Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War and this, it kind of pulled me out of it.
This was nice to see after Infinity War 2. I know we touched on that because Infinity War left me, like, pretty devastated. Like, that movie, I'm not going to spoil anything because I know you guys haven't reviewed that one yet, too, I guess.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But if you haven't seen it, go see it because it's really good. But this was a good, like, lighten the mood kind of movie. Like, if you're going to see 2 movies, probably go see Avengers and then see this one, I guess.
Before we get into spoilers, I just want to say if there's any topic of conversation related to the actors or the comic characters or things going on in the different cinematic universes, this movie will spoof those situations. If you're looking for the reference, it's in there somewhere. Any reference you can think of related to any of these characters.
The Deadpool, especially Deadpool 2, is really good to give your average moviegoer something to watch, or someone like you, Ryan, who's like read all the X-Men stuff and you know all about it. You're going to like it about the same, even if someone doesn't get it or it's fine.
Honestly, I'm not. I read a lot of the X-Men comics, but I'm more of the '90s cartoon guy. When
I love the '90s cartoon. Yeah,
that's where
I've only seen very little of it, but I love it.
I've seen probably every episode, so I know that's like what my reference of the X-Men. But that was actually pretty accurate. Like they even have Deadpool in a couple episodes, and Cable's in a bunch of episodes.
I love the future stuff of Forge and Bishop.
I'm hoping that maybe they'll introduce Bishop at some point, because they did in Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
they showed him, but I would like to see him in. Going after Cable.
This is the second version of time travel we've seen in like the X-Men universe.
Yeah.
We have the Days of Future Past where time travel works one way, and then we have the time travel in this universe.
I prefer this way. It's very Star Trek. It's just like, and then we did it, and here we are.
Exactly.
It had its serious moments, but it's like as opposed to Avengers where there was jokes thrown in, but it was to kind of get your mind off of like how really grim the situation is.
Yeah.
This one was like. The serious moments were almost there to kind of like make it so it's not only just this comedy movie, like action comedy. It does have heart to it, I would say.
A lot. Yeah, this you can shed a tear while laughing or crying in Deadpool 2, Kieran.
Well, even during the serious parts, I kept just waiting to laugh again. I'm like, I'm almost just laughing at the seriousness whenever it got there, so I don't know.
One criticism I do have is that this is the most predictable movie that you'll ever watch. Every act of the movie, what's going to happen in the beginning, what's going to happen at the end. I felt like it was incredibly predictable, but what made it good was the way that things were portrayed and the jokes and the interactions between the characters. But there's no twists and turns.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty predictable, but at the same time, there's a lot of unpredictability to it because you never know what random like gag is going to happen.
Exactly.
So do we want to get into spoilers?
We get into spoilers now.
No, we'll just leave it at like I liked it. This is a rare situation where we didn't even leave the room. We have just seen the movie. Yeah. Usually, I need to sit on it a little longer and think of what I want to say, but. All I'm thinking right now is just how funny a lot of it. I think of it as in like when you try to describe a movie like Wayne's World, it's a hard movie to discuss without just talking about these individual moments, and that's what this was like to me just now. But it was good. Check it out.
What's your favorite part of the movie?
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna need help describing this, but do you remember the part when they're in the mansion, and I think he's fighting with Colossus or something, and then there's like a door that's open, and it's Beast or Nightcrawler or one of the blue characters.
Yeah, it's all the X-Men movie characters.
They're like,
and he's complaining too, saying like, "What? There's no one here. Like you guys couldn't."
There's no budget from the studio.
Yeah,
for this.
There's just a shot of I think Beast.
It's
closing.
Beast, it's Professor X.
Yeah, they're all in the back,
Quicksilver.
but Beast is like the one closing the door to like. There's like
quietly, so like
there's like a meeting.
Alert him.
Yeah, like have you ever been in those situations where someone tries to like politely close a door without giving? They kind of give a look.
They're
like
they're just, oh shit, Deadpool's here.
Yeah, it's like
because the first the joke of the first movie was you couldn't get more X-Men characters because everything was licensed with Fox and all that bullshit, and now they're just like here they all are.
Yeah,
goodbye. In a room.
Gone in a second.
I would just love to play back that one part. That was like it went by so quick, and then I was like, did that just happen? That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I also really thought. Okay, so I thought the idea of Vanisher. At first, I don't know if he's in the comics. I don't know anything about this character, but I don't know if it exists solely in the movie, whatever. I'm thinking this is ingenious. This character actually doesn't exist. Like there is no Vanisher. So the whole time I'm thinking that he's just like almost like a decoy or like he's not a real character who's there. And I'm really warming up to that idea. Like I want this to follow through without ever seeing anything more to this character. when he's parachuting, I'm just thinking, well, it's just the parachute gear and there's nobody in it. But then it goes into the electrical wires, and it's Brad Pitt for like 1 second.
It's like, there you go.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
I think my favorite part of the movie was the entire parachuting sequence. That was and the truck chase after was great. Like, Domino was great. Like, she's so cool in the movie.
It is the best portrayal of Domino in any medium.
Damn. Are you hating on Keira Knightley?
Who
they mentioned at the end of the first one.
I think definitely the best portrayal. The best portrayal of Powers, best attitude. She has like that attitude because in comics she's kind of like a grimdark girl, you know, like not really like that. But if you were the luckiest person alive, you'd be like, you'd have like a bounce in your step and you'd be like pretty happy.
She's
like, I'm lucky.
You know? Like when she hits like the panda inflatable thing, she's just like, ah.
Yeah, like when she.
I like that the code was 7.
Yeah.
It's just 7. He's like, it's not going to be more. You know, it's going to be more than one number, and they hit it, and it's just, oh, okay.
No, it was definitely a fun movie, and I think my favorite part of the movie is like not moment, but like the cinematography, the pacing, the editing were so sharp. It was just like scene.
The movie blew by. I felt like 2 hours felt like nothing watching it. Like and there was no part I was bored. Infinity War is great, but there's parts where I'm kind of like, I can't wait for this part, but I'm waiting for something.
Yeah, this got out at the right time. I feel like if it went a little longer, it would have overstayed.
It's very because I watched the first one yesterday. You could just put them right back to back because they're so cohesive, kind of like the Crank movies or whatever you want to say. Because a lot of the same people worked on it, especially Ryan Reynolds. But you know, you have something like Ultron doesn't really link up well to Avengers 1. It's like it feels thematically different.
There's so many other movies in between. Like it's not just Avengers 1. It's like, you know, it's Avengers 1 and then it's like Captain America.
Yeah, but
Iron Man 3, Captain America 2.
But I bet you like Ant-Man and the Wasp is gonna feel like Ant-Man. Like it's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
or maybe that's why.
And I loved Infinity War. I don't want to say like I don't want to maybe thinking
You didn't like it?
I love that damn movie. Like, I really,
We're not gonna,
yeah, I was sitting right next to you when you watched it. I was like, he was like...
I saw it twice. I'll probably see this twice because I really like this too.
Yeah.
These are definitely... I'm really easy to please with superhero movies. Like, there's only a few... Like I said earlier, like, the only one I really don't like is Suicide Squad. I hated it. But every other superhero movie I'm kind of cool with. You know, I'm like, I really do not have a problem watching.
Suicide Squad, that was something else. That was a mess.
It's what, it's kind of what this was trying to do, but they did it. They went like trying to be real cool, and it just came off real cringe the entire time. The whole movie just made me upset. It made me.
And that's the thing. When I see Deadpool things on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever, I kind of cringe at them. I'm like, it's like the lowest hanging fruit. I hate fucking Deadpool. But with the movies, I thought they captured it properly, if that makes sense. For me, I'd say see it alone. I think I'd appreciate, especially this one with all the sad scenes. And, you know, I love how they showed, like, the other world, you know, and they showed, like, you know, when someone, like, the light at the end of the tunnel. I like how it was in, like, water. It was more liquid. Like, they did a lot of interesting things.
Well, isn't that how it is in, like, What Dreams May Come? I don't want to go all the way back to that movie. Like, Heaven and Hell is, like, it's, like, liquid.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because they bring it back, like, you know, you're born in liquid and you die in liquid. That's kind of a thing.
Make you upset. That's a sad movie.
Yeah, that's a heavy movie.
My boy Cuba, is he in there?
Yeah.
So I like the character Peter.
Peter's
just this average guy named Peter. Is he in the comics?
I thought he was Peter Wisdom.
I was going to ask,
which is this like secret agent dude that can throw knives. Like he can make knives and toss them and stuff. I thought that's who he was, and they were going to get to something, but it's
a separate character.
I'm guessing it's just literally a guy named Peter. Like because. He doesn't do anything, like, and the scene he's in where, like, what happens to him is great.
Well, the whole scene where they're actually, like, interviewing them, it reminded me so hard of Mystery Men. I was, like, very excited about that.
I love Mystery Men.
Okay, we got to touch on some nerdy shit now, guys. Okay. Here we go. You look at Cable. Okay, Cable is related to Cyclops and Jean Grey. depending on where you are, what comics, it may be different.
I should be taking notes on this.
More notes for you.
Yeah.
Cable is a person that actually, depending on what future or past or things you go in, he's either Cable, who's a good guy, Nathan Gray, who's a gooder guy,
he's
a better guy,
psychic.
or Strife, who's evil. And then I think there's something going on with X-Man, too, where
I think
he's
X-Men is
related
Nathan Gray,
to them as well. So that's who Cable is. And Cable's daughter, Hope Summers, is the girl with the teddy bear who died in the scene in the future. And she is like the mutant messiah who's going to save the mutants. So her dying is the stakes of the whole movie.
Yeah.
And the movie doesn't explain it at all.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter, but it's the most important thing for, like, in the movie.
I like when she dies and you know, like the young fat kid who's now an older, thin, like, evil guy.
I thought that character was one of the most interesting.
I like him hiding pens in his ass because he's in prison. And
prison
stuff.
wallet.
Yeah, his prison wallet.
What did you guys?
Well,
It's like
I
he
learned
keeps
a lot of
pulling
lore. Like I've learned what Juggernaut's middle name is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, what was it? Like,
He goes. Well, first of all, I wasn't really aware. Does Juggernaut speak that often?
No, he
because
does. Yeah, he
It's like
says
sometimes
stuff,
he does,
Yeah.
but okay, because he didn't have many words in the movie, but like when he did, when he goes, "Fucking shit up," or no, "Let's fuck some shit up" is my legal middle name. I just lost it.
I like how he had to say legal.
Yeah, legal.
Like, literally.
Yeah. Like he is not kidding. It really is.
Kane,
was
let's
wondering,
fuck
too.
some shit up.
Yeah, I had to look it
Marco?
up. It's like,
Yeah.
Kane, let's fuck some shit up, Marco.
I'm guessing.
Although I prefer Jug, let's fuck some shit up, not
Jug. Yeah,
Jugger, not.
Jug.
I don't know.
But I did like that they mentioned that he is, he's half brother of Charles Xavier.
Yeah.
And he mentions that whole thing.
Well, they
about-
don't even mention it. They say, my brother keeps trying to read my mind.
Yeah.
And
they
he's
make
in a
that
wheelchair.
joke,
So
yeah.
He's in a
Well,
wheelchair.
They make fun of that. They make fun of X-Men as being like a '60s, like social commentary. Like they kind of jab at the series a little bit.
They make fun of Batman versus Superman.
Of course.
The Martha
yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
like too when Colossus and Juggernaut go to fight. He's like, "Oh, we got a big old CG fight coming on," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like he actually says, because
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, looking at like Colossus, I think looks really good in this movie, and Juggernaut looked really good. But in the back of your mind there's CG. But when Deadpool says it's a CG fight scene, you kind of go like, oh, and it just goes right out of your mind, and you're watching just a fight scene now.
Yeah.
The fact that he breaks the fourth wall so much,
Mhm.
it doesn't take me out of the fact that I'm watching a movie. It makes it more enjoyable. It's like, in their mind, like, Deadpool's crazy, but in his mind, he's talking to us. Like, he really, like, we know the truth that Deadpool is not really as crazy
Like
as
he's
everyone
watching
thinks
it
he
with
is.
us almost.
I like the shot at Rob Liefeld about guys who can't draw feet.
Yeah.
So Rob Liefeld's the creator of Deadpool and Cable.
That's
too,
what that
right?
was.
Yeah.
That's what that was about.
Yeah,
Really?
and like if you look at all the comics that he's done, first of all he draws lots of pouches, so everybody has
Yeah.
like 1,000 pouches.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the perspective's all off, like giant
Awful,
pecs and
like,
Yeah,
the worst
and
anatomy and muscles
they'll be like-
ever. Like, sorry if Rob Liefeld is watching this, too. Like, you're a great
might
comic
be.
artist, and I don't want to hurt his feelings or something.
There'll be a rock, like literally, if you look at Rob Liefeld comics, like a guy will be running and there'll be rocks in front of his feet, so he didn't have to draw the feet.
Smoke or something,
Or, like,
it'll be
smoke, or, like-
a ground piece.
Okay.
Yeah,
And when he does draw the feet, they're so off. Like, it would be
And
like the Hulk
just so we're
walking around
clear,
on
we're,
twigs.
we're talking about that whole scene when he has the small legs.
Oh no, that was a great
That's
scene. too.
funny.
That's a great
I'm
scene.
surprised they didn't bring up the small legs and
Ah.
No, it's when they're like Deadpool's like not parachuting, but he's like coming down the building with
He's
a
talking
cable.
about
Okay.
he's talking about Domino's power, and he's like, "Who came up with that stupid thing? Probably like some guy who can't draw feet." Like,
Yeah, that's what
their
he
whole
says.
power is
Yeah,
lost.
he never says Rob Liefeld can't draw feet. He just says
Yeah.
it's like someone who can't draw feet.
There's a lot going on.
yeah.
What'd you make of Colossus? Say fuck. What was that about?
Well, it's because he's so clean cut and such a
Yeah.
good guy,
Yeah.
and he doesn't curse. So he's like, "Hey, as my final wish, could
Yeah.
you curse?" For
That's
me?
my final wish. Just say fuck.
Well,
And then he hesitates for a while and then just goes, fuck.
I like the Bond style intro where all
the
the
Bond thing was
the
pretty
titles
funny.
were.
Oh, I was
like-
mad because I didn't start because the first one the titles come up automatic, like in the car scene.
Yeah.
Or there's actually a Starbucks cup that says Rob L. So it's
Yeah.
like he's in the car and dies, Rob Liefeld as well. But I didn't start reading the titles because I was so because it was so emotional at that scene because she dies or Vanessa dies or whatever. So I was taken aback and I was like, oh, it's like a Bond scene, and I wasn't reading the funny joke names for a little bit.
It's interesting how it makes fun of the idea of the opening Bond, montage credits thing, whatever. But it doesn't do anything to. It still does its end credits as normal. You still have the end. How they always put the major credit sequence at the end. So it kind of has two, even though the first one's it's a joke credit sequence, but the real credit sequence is at the end. I feel like they kind of missed an opportunity to make fun of the cliche of the end credit sequence, because it's almost not even aware of its own cliche that's existing.
I kind of wish they cut to the end credits of Logan, but instead of fading to black, the kids are walking up the mountain, Deadpool comes out and just starts digging up the body during the Deadpool credits. It gives him a syringe or something to wake him up because he's time traveling and stuff.
The best thing in the Bond sequence where it says directed by the people who shot the dog in John Wick.
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
I have nothing else to say, guys. I don't know.
I loved it. I had a great time watching it.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that when you see this, at the moment you're watching this, we'll probably be at the Nickel City Convention in Buffalo, New York. So check that out if you got nothing to do this weekend. And also got a new nerd video for you coming out pretty soon. So I think you'll enjoy that. And other than that, you guys got
Did you guys just fucking bootleg this movie?
No.
No, we're filming a movie review.
Yeah,
the review,
I
man.
said no outside food, but I figure you also understood no outside filming equipment. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Nice Trolls box.
I bought it here.
Yeah. That's just more. See. Hi guys. Now this is my show. They didn't mention that Mojoverse was mentioned in it, which is awesome. www.savetheanthonywayne.com. Help me save the Anthony Wayne Theater. I don't know. Can you guys come back and get your gear? I'm going to sell this on eBay.